Yep, so I just got dropped off at the starting airstrip and got to watch my plane fly off, leaving me here out in the wilderness. Yeah, it's currently like 7:30 right now, but the sun doesn't set until 10, so I don't know. I originally thought I would just set up camp as soon as I got dropped off, but I actually think I have a pretty good opportunity to knock out some pretty decent mileage, and also to kind of just familiarize myself with the terrain out here. But yeah, now that I've kind of departed from the airstrip area, there really is nobody out here. I am all by myself in this vast, expansive wilderness. So I'm currently kind of making my way up to this pass up over there. It's starting to get a little rainy, so had to throw on the raincoat. This is the one thing that you kind of expect about backpacking in Alaska, though, especially in August. It gets rainy. Thankfully, it's not like pouring. It's more just kind of like a light drizzle. I mean, I already had to walk across a stream earlier today, so my feet are wet. That's another thing about Alaska. When you're backpacking out here, your feet are always wet because you got to do like so many stream crossings and river crossings and shit. But yeah, it's so beautiful out here. It's just vast in such a way that I've never seen before, I've never experienced before. Super, super special. So I finally made it up to my pass. This is Chittistone Pass, and in a minute, I think, as long as it's not too foggy, I'll be able to see the Chittistone River. This part of the route is actually super nice because I'm actually following an old mining route. So it's not exactly a real trail, but it's definitely better than most kind of off-trail travel that you'll find in Alaska. You know, I know it is wrong in a couple places, like you can definitely follow it off the side of a cliff or something, so can't exactly just mindlessly follow it. But I know this portion of the route, or this particular portion, is pretty chill. There's no cliff that I'm going to be walking off of, so yeah. So I just got to the first stream crossing of the route. Stream crossings are actually one of the most hazardous parts of backpacking in Alaska because the waters are really cold and if you cross at the wrong spot, you can easily get knocked over and you can drown, or you can get washed into a much more fast-flowing river. So over here is the Chittestone River, which is a really, really big river that's flowing real fast. And I basically have to cross this stream behind me right here. So in my route information, it actually said that the best place to cross this stream is right here at the mouth of the stream where it empties into the Chittestone River. But the one problem with that is that if you were to fall over, you're going to get washed into the Chittestone River, and that would be really, really bad. But the thing with my route information is I think it was written quite a while ago, and the courses of these streams and rivers will change a lot over the course of the years. So I was looking around, and I actually think that up there might be a better spot to cross, because you can kind of see that the river initially starts as two forks and streams in, and then becomes one single stream. And I think I would rather cross two weaker streams than one big stream right here. So I think I'm going to give it a shot crossing up there, and if that doesn't work, I'll come down here and see what I can make it with. Alright, so I ended up just crossing the stream where I said I would, like higher up, before it becomes one stream. And it ended up working pretty well. I don't know if it was the best thing to do, but it felt solid the whole time. Like, I didn't feel like I was doing anything sketchy. There was good footing throughout the crossing, and I don't think I was really at risk of getting like knocked over at any point during the crossing. So I actually just finished eating dinner, but I'm gonna keep hiking a little bit. The reason for that is because I wanna make sure I don't have an odor near me when I set up camp, so that the bears don't start coming by and sniffing around and causing problems for me. You know, like obviously I'm fully prepared for a bear encounter, but I think one of the most important aspects of dealing with bears in the backcountry is kind of doing everything you can to make sure that you don't even have an encounter to begin with. And one of the easiest ways you can do that is to not camp where you eat. So, yeah. Yep, so just set up camp for the night. The travel out here hasn't been as bad. This is the end of day 1 for reference, and I'm like exactly halfway done with my original route. I do have some detour options because I did plan for like just in case I moved really quickly, which I didn't think would happen, and it's actually happening, which is kind of crazy. I'm hesitant to like feel good still, just because I feel like the terrain in Alaska can be pretty like high variance. Like it could be like splendid today and then like awful tomorrow. That's what I've heard. Like it can be like really, really all over the place. But I think I do have reason to be optimistic. And overall, yeah, it's been a pretty solid day so far. I'm currently moving through the next sort of like cruxy part of the route, which are these scree slopes that are part of like the original mining route that I'm kind of loosely following right now. Apparently, according to my beta, this is actually a spot where a lot of people will turn around because it actually is kind of sketchy travel. If you look at what's going on, you can kind of see that I'm sort of just side hilling along these super steep slopes, and if I were to slip or something, I'd be taking a tumble down one of these gullies, and that would be either death or very, very painful injuries, and I'd have to chop her out. But I think I've done a lot of climbing in the Sierra and the Cascades that have prepared me pretty well for this terrain, so I don't actually think that it's too bad. feel like there have been many times as I've been walking along and looking around where I'm like, damn, man, is this not the greatest fucking thing in the world? All right, so I'm actually gonna take like a detour off of the main route just because I have so much time. So just for reference, the main route kind of continues down that way and goes around this little ridge line right here. But what I've done is I've sort of climbed up onto this ridge right here, and I'm actually gonna descend onto the other side of this ridge. I'm probably gonna camp at that lake right there, and I think tomorrow I might try to climb that peak back there. Because I looked at like the slope angle data on Cal Topo, and I think based on that data at least, there could be a viable way up. Obviously, I'm not dead set on climbing it. Like, if it gets too sketchy, I'll turn around. But I saw it there, and I was like, might as well give it a shot. All right, so a bit of a change of a plan. I'm actually not gonna climb that peak right there. I took a look at it, and I don't know, it looked like really chossy and full of scree. I didn't think I wanted to go up there. However, what I am doing is I am continuing along the detour off of the main route that I'm doing. So I guess for some context, the main route that I originally planned to do is probably one of the most popular routes in the park. Popular being a relative term, in that about 20 to 30 people do it every year. But there is a variation of it that adds about 10 extra miles, or no, it adds 5 extra miles. And this variation is pretty much, well, from what I've seen so far, it doesn't seem like it's done very often because I don't see any footsteps out here. However, I do have the beta both printed out and saved as a PDF on my phone, so got that going for me. My plan is I'm gonna get a weather forecast tomorrow morning, and if the weather forecast looks bad for either tomorrow or the next day, I'm just gonna turn around and finish the original main route, which will be kind of annoying, but it's definitely the safest thing to do. But I think if the weather's been holding up like it has been so far with this amazing clear blue skies, I think I'm going to give the variation a shot, just because I've been pushing some great mileage this whole trip, and I think I've really started to get the hang of traveling in the off-trail terrain in Alaska, and I think I have the time to finish it, so I might as well give it a shot. I just finished the first kind of section of this longer detour. Officially, there aren't any real sections, but I think the way that I thought about it in my head, I can kind of split it up into 3 different parts. So I didn't really vlog most of that first section, just because once I'm out here, I actually don't even have like a GPS line at all. All I have are waypoints. And by waypoints, I mean I had one waypoint, I think, this whole time. So that definitely makes the travel more complex, because then it's much more legit off-trail travel where I actually have to kind of like scan the environment and then pick what I think is a viable line to the next waypoint or whatever. And, you know, sometimes I'll just pick wrong and I'll have to backtrack or I'll have to endure some really bad travel. But I think that's the one thing I like about this more rugged off-trail travel, because throughout this process of trial and error, you can really learn a lot about the landscape. And I feel like you don't have as much of an opportunity to learn if you're just kind of following a line that you downloaded from the internet. But I mean, I'm standing on this ridge right now and just like, check this out. This is splendid, man. Like, just all around me, there's just the most beautiful, beautiful landscape. It's spectacular. And like the coolest thing is, I'm just out here like all by myself. There's actually nobody around as far as I can see. It's just me out here among these giants, man. I just finished setting up camp about half an hour ago, so that pretty much wraps up day 3. Today was actually a pretty big day, so I started moving at around 9:40 and stopped at around 9 p.m. So about like an 11-hour day, and I did 8 miles, which I feel like an 8-mile day in Alaska is a pretty long day. But the fact that it took me 11 hours to get 8 miles tells you, I feel like, everything you need to know about the travel out here. It is rough, man. It is tough going out here. But yeah, I mean, it is just as beautiful today as it was the first 2 days. And I think all in all, things are looking pretty good. So I only have about 4 miles left on this long detour. So I think I should be able to get to my airstrip tomorrow, which means that I'll be getting there 1 day early. And that'll be cool, because that'll just mean that like on Thursday, I'll just be able to sit around and do nothing, or just like do whatever I want, and I take like a nice chill day. All right, so it's currently 10:03, and this is the start of day 4 for me. I've been going about half an hour so far. Got going at around 9:30. I feel like I've been starting out days out in Alaska much later than I usually do. I feel like when I was in the Sierra and the North Cascades and in the Grand Canyon, I was usually like up and going at around 8 or 8:30. But I think out here, it's just so beautiful that I end up just spending a lot of time at camp in the morning, taking in the scenery. So today is hopefully going to be the final day. I mean, the weather looks pretty solid, and honestly, the travel out here doesn't look that bad. I'm actually really, really happy that I took this detour, because, I mean, check this view out, right? Like, this is going to be the view that I end this trip on. Just this magnificent, expansive landscape of these beautiful snow-capped peaks. And I'll be hiking on these rolling tundra hills to cap it off. The past hour or two, I think the past 2 hours have probably been the worst travel on this entire trip. I've been bushwhacking through like river valleys, and I've just been climbing up and down like these steep ridges over and over and over. But I think we're at the end of the bad section now, and the rest of the trip should just be smooth sailing. I'm actually kind of standing on top of one of these ridges that I charged up. And it turns out I actually charged up the wrong ridge. There's actually like a lower ridge back there that I probably should have gone up instead. But, I mean, I don't really think this is a mistake, right? Like, it's spectacular out here. And it's pretty easy to course correct, because basically what I'm kind of doing for the remainder of the route is I'm gonna go out and then just follow the base of this plateau all the way around. So it doesn't really matter that I'm here and not over there, but yeah, Alaska definitely makes you work for the views, but this is just magnificent, man. All right, so I'm currently climbing up out of the final ridge of the trip, and I think once I top out right here, I'll be able to see my exit airstrip. I've had to go up and down so many of these ridges, man. It's almost fitting that we end on a ridge. But yeah, just over there, that's the ending airstrip. The end is near. We can see it now. Day 4 is officially complete. It's currently 10 p.m. and I'm probably gonna go to sleep pretty much right after recording this. I started moving today at around 9:30 in the morning and got to the ending airstrip at around 2. So moved for about 4.5 hours and only moved about 4.5 miles. Yeah, like I keep saying, travel in Alaska is tough, and I think 1 mile per hour is actually pretty great pace out here. But yeah, I mean, even though I have one more day out here, it's starting to hit me that, I am going to have to leave this place, which is incredibly sad because I feel like this place is just so truly so special. And I think at this point, I will say that it is the most beautiful place that I've ever visited. And I think it will be a really sad moment when I have to fly out of here on Friday. And I really don't want to think about that too hard right now. But yeah, I mean, on the bright side, I still have one more day. And specifically, I have one more day of doing absolutely nothing. Like, I think tomorrow, I'm just going to sit in my tent or just hang out along this ridge out here and just kind of take in the St. Elias Mountains and the University Range behind me. So it's currently 5:50 in the morning. Woke up about 10 minutes ago. It's been really hard to get long, deep sleep out here just because the sun sets so late and rises so early. I'm currently heading up to a spot closer to the airstrip. Got my bear bag here that I left safely far away from my tent last night. But yeah, I'm heading up to a spot that is closer to the airstrip just because I think it's actually going to give me a better view of the sunrise, and hopefully I can catch some alpenglow or see the sun come up over the Chittistone Pass where I was at just a few days ago. I think this is the first time that I'll actually be able to catch and enjoy the sunrise, just because I feel like every day, the past few days, I've been waking up a bit later, I guess, just because I've been moving a lot more, so I've been much more tired. But today I felt like waking up a little early. You can kind of see down there the Chittestone River that we were walking by just a couple of days ago.